Hello, sorry, no music today. Music went a bit wonky on me. I'm not sure if I want to use the thing that sort of just popped up. So let's just go to the chart. And we're going to do some interesting stuff today. Today is going to be a little bit unusual. All right, Stebo, hello. Haven't seen you around in a while. Danny, Jay, hello, everybody. We're going to do some stuff we haven't done before today. Just give me a sec to get myself all ready and set up. Pardon me, the music started all night. I'm not sure I'm eligible to use the music that started blasting this time around, so I stopped it, and I will not be able to know until later, but it is what it is. Let's see. Have to catch up later, but hope everyone is doing good. All right, Danny, no worries. Also, if you have time later on, can you go over gold, please? Yeah, sure, Danny. We can look at gold, but you have to stay for that. You're gonna have to be around. I don't look at stuff unless the people who ask for it are still around. Okay, so today we're gonna do our regular stuff, but let me get situated. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of whack today. Like I said, that music thing really kind of was not planned, so now I had that a bit of an issue, but give me a second, we'll go into the swing of things, and we'll tackle the stuff we usually tackle, and then some stuff that we usually don't necessarily do. Today, Cristiano, Michalis, hello, everybody. I don't know if I have no idea if I'm, because there's like so many ways I know to pronounce Michael or Michalis, or there's like I really hope I'm pronouncing it the right way. I really do. But it definitely is the same sort of origin of Michael. That's definitely the Michael type right there. Hello, hello. Oh, 1 second, let me mute my phone as well. I'm all over the place today. Like in the good old days when I started the streams and I was just all over the place. All right. So today, hello from the rookie. Okay. Piotr. Piotr. Oh, now I can get it. K, Thomas, Joe. Oh, I thought Jay from earlier. Right? Joe, hello. Jay and everybody. Yeah, all right. So today we're gonna do some stuff. Today we're gonna put some. We're gonna talk about our regular stuff, and we're gonna talk about some of the comments. I don't know why. Maybe it's a trendy thing right now I've been getting recently, and we're gonna look into what these comments say. And actually, if so I'm gonna give some credence to some of the comments. I don't find them offensive at all. If anything, I'm grateful for the interaction. You know how the YouTube algorithm works, so any interaction is good, but we will have some potential laughs here later. We'll see what am I talking about. So for now, let's focus on the markets. I don't want to waste your time. Some of you guys are very busy and need to run and do other stuff. Instead of just ramble on, let's talk about the market, what we're seeing, and well, pretty evidently, we opened up with a very decent, more than decent gap right there in the morning. Well, those of you who know, it is very common to see the market closing gaps that are fresh and especially that are not that big, but so the way the structure is, it makes a lot more sense, especially given the fact of the matter we still have a lot more of that bullish momentum to squeeze out. We've been talking about this is very tedious, very prolonged process that we've been going through. So eventually we're going to run out, which seems like we're kind of at that stage. What we're looking for, those of you who know better know where we're looking for the monthly chart to break, right? This is where we're seeing the momentum clearly starting to fail. And we have this structure on the monthly stochastic RSI. Basically, our momentum, our channel is structured as such that we're at the edge of the range, and last time we've been there, those who know, that was around 2022, when just before we had the correction to the downside, just the opposite side of the channel. We've tested the bottom of the channel, went up, very normal sort of processes. And the current structure, the current momentum, is indicating that potentially we're going to have a correction. Even if we're not going to go straight down, which, I mean, come on, the market doesn't work this way. We're potentially looking at about 4,561 and ish, right? That's kind of the area that I'm assessing based upon the bottom of the channel, and usually how these corrections are rather quicker, far swifter than the upside. The upside is very slow. We go up by the stairs, we drop by the elevator, right? And or as I say, we gain in droplets and lose in buckets. That's the one I usually use for that one. So that's the structure we know on the grand scheme of things, and we want to be attentive. I would not knock off looking at the granular day-to-day price action, because as we've been seeing lately, and I've kind of predicted this, we're going to see more of the sideways price action if we're going to conquer slightly higher highs that around the 5,800. Yeah, we said how these highs can potentially happen. Not that was not that likely. I've foreseen us getting stuck on a lower level below that. Does not really matter whether we're stuck at 58.50 or 58-ish. Doesn't really matter all that much, let's be frank. In fact, what I thought would be ceiling ended up being floor. Still plays part of the current structure. I would argue also that we're probably going to break down below these highs very shortly. We're seeing the correction on, well, incoming, if you will. 5 minutes is still bullish. We know 5 minutes is not all that indicative, nor matters all that much. We still have that gap to close, so I'm not going to be surprised if we're going to spend the remainder of this session trying, or at least moving towards the closure of this gap, and I would be highly satisfied with it. I would prefer to find ourselves retesting that median shortly, still retaining a general downwards direction, of course. That's what the market just will seem to be doing if that's the case, even if penetrating the overall range. Again, I've not been putting exactly super accurate lines, just to sort of signify the structure on the grand scheme of things. Once we close that gap, we're of course more available to continue to the downside, which we perceive to be the more likely scenario based upon us moving into oversold territory. For example, right here on the 4-hourly chart, which we know is synonymous with the daily chart. Okay, the daily chart is, well, not all that bearish. So how is it? Well, we will see that there's a bit of a discrepancy between the two. This creates an average of what we're seeing on the 4-hour, because on the 4-hour the structure is a bit different. Remember, on the S&P we don't have pre and post market, and the said discrepancy here is that yes, we were able to squeeze out this bullish momentum. What the 4-hourly more represents, more so than anything else, is this process. So the breakdown process, right? Smaller time frame, smaller structure, internal. Here we're still seeing larger movement to the upside. We said we're expecting a correction a while back. Nothing has been nothing changed since. We're probably expecting this to converge relatively shortly and start building to the downside. Remember, we spoke about this. The structures are not represented here in the same way. This is a linear indicator, so thus you will not be able to see the full waves. You will simply be able to see the recent impulses relative to their starting point, which is the previous lows, highs, whatever, depending on the structure that we're having. In other words, this is not the best indicator to look at the larger structure, unless you remember that what you're seeing on the larger time frames is helpful to read the smaller time frames. It's a bit of a mind but the simple principle of this is that if we can predict based upon the structure a couple of candlesticks out, or maybe several candlesticks out, right, the larger time frame couple of candlesticks represent, and we say this is applicable to all the time frames, give or take, again, in terms of amount of candlesticks based upon your proficiency. Now, the further smaller time frame we go, basically these two candlesticks on the daily are extremely further out on the smaller time frames. So remember, they are useful only if you understand how to read them correctly. At the end of the day, the reason we really know we're bearish is this thing. right? The yearly, for example. And those who understand, these are processes that take literally multiple years to finalize. And when we're going through the correction, not necessarily that you will see the full thing. For example, the same way the brunt of this correction, for looking at the real estate bubble or the real estate crisis, right? It was far more painful. This was only a correction of 51%, while the dot-com bubble was 51, while the real estate was 58. While on the indicator, it appears completely differently, right? So you need to know the cycles and understand what it is and how it is that you're reading this tool altogether. So we haven't really seen, although we've been pointing to the downside, this is the transitional period. That is that transition period between the bullish to the bearish, and still we were able to squeeze out far more than normally expected. It will not save nor help. The fact of the matter, the trend is pointing to the downside, and the cycle also solidifies that the sort of the viability of this being the cycle. Those who are familiar with the cycles understand that is probably the case. Yes, we are seeing a bit of a convergence here, so looks a bit wonky. Sure, that is because of that candlestick. The more we're going to see a correction formulate, basically in the price action, the more these two will diverge from one another, giving us a healthy correction structure. I assure you, when we were building this, it looked very, very similar to this. That's just the natural process. That's what the corrections do to the structure. It does not change it. All it does, it adjusts it. So in other words, you cannot, to change it, you need to have a flourishing market, flourishing economy, no geopolitical tensions, no supply chain disruptions, and various other issues we're having still on the table and potentially going to grow even worse with time. So we have to remember, this is kind of where the story starts. This is why we're going if you will, the other way around. It's just simpler for people to see the bigger picture and then zoom in on it than the other way around, going from, point blank and then zoom out for some reason. That's why we do things the way we do. And we still remember the structure that we're seeing. We're still seeing clear loss of momentum on the larger time frames. And it doesn't matter what we're seeing on the smaller time frames, because this stuff will dissipate rather quickly. Again, predicting several candlesticks outwards, even if it's 3, 4, 5 on the 1 hourly, that means you can predict 5 hours out. If you can predict 5 candlesticks on a quarterly, do I really have to tell you that you just predicted 2.5 years out? So, sorry, pardon me, a year and a half out, right? So, you see it long enough, right? And you can go even further out than that. The better you are, the more you can read out further into the price action. So sorry to say, the bigger structure is very not looking all that healthy. Now, hello, thank you, sir. Welcome, you're welcome. Alex, haven't seen you in the open forum in a while. Join us so we can hang out in the Discord. It's a lot of fun. Been missing your presence. You're a bit of a personality already in the community. So right now, again, objectively on the daily, which a lot of us find to be really, really important, the market generally looks at, is having these entanglements back and forth. Not all that surprising. In fact, I'm not going to be surprised before we start the true correction, the one we're seeing right here on the monthly. To make it simple, once the correction that we're expecting, that larger correction in the market truly initiates, I am fairly certain, based upon my experience in the market structure as well, and the momentum that we're seeing right here, once this breaks down and starts showing signs of breakdown, which we will, of course, inevitably see in the price action as well, but more so that, particularly because we've seen the attempts to correct without without the indicator showing actual breakdown. So once we see this, which appears to be very, very, pretty much any moment, any day now, right? I believe, sadly, it seems they are somehow, which I was saying, I hope they will not be able to, drag out all the way to election. That seems to be the case. And once we hit closer to election, which is basically in about like 15 days-ish, and then a bit afterwards, there are various events that can come through the same way. It was predictable that when the event happened, we knew we were upcoming to a correction one way or another, and that correction happened via, the unmentionable, right, on YouTube. but you know what we're talking about. And but it was expected. You see that the range was already expected. The fact of the matter that we can prolong this process, in fact, months out, right? It doesn't have to happen this month. It could happen the very next month. In fact, it could happen 2 months from now. In fact, you understand, this process within itself doesn't necessarily happen all that right away. So it could be that we're still going to prolong a couple of more months, drag out a couple more dollars. I personally don't want to be in the market at the absolute edge, which is something we're actually going to be talking about. The commenters that I've been recently getting, which is amusing. The community and the students more so probably will find this more amusing than anything. It'll just go to show you the perception of the people which is, again, just not us, I guess. And blah, blah, blah. So I guess, look, the idea is very simple. It doesn't matter how much time we're gonna be spending hyper focusing on the minutia, right? The same way we knew we were moving to the downside, we've been saying it all along. It's being dragged out, and it's almost this very, very slow, tedious process of making our way actually into oversold territory. Remember, because this is just a representation of the impulses and the upwards momentum and the loss of it that we are seeing through this tool. It is not perfect. There's a reason why professionals will not kind of avoid using it. Yes, once you are more proficient with the market and you're aware of other tools, you can almost envision and understand what other tools will be showing you while reading this tool. You're so good at this point where you can basically read tool A from tool B. Okay, that is something that the more you spend, the more you become proficient in the industry and an analysis, you actually will be able to do. Beforehand, it's just something that's going to elude you, and it eludes most people, right? The same way this is a singular structure, but it appears to come through in 3 different impulses, making its way to the downside, right? You need to be able to see this process. And remember, though it seems as if it's rather bearish, so far what we get from it is barely flat, but kind of the flattening of the curve, if you will, right? We had a very steep curve and a flattening of the curve. You can see we've been going sideways, if you will, making this flag formation. Those who know. Now, so remember, basically, the fact of the matter that takes another week or another month that cannot change the direction of the market. The same way, if you come out of home, you drive towards work, and the exit you were planning to take is blocked off, guess what? You don't just turn around and go home. You just take another exit, right? So these things can divert the market temporarily, but it cannot change the trajectory nor the target to where we are moving. Right now, we seem to be testing the median of the larger channel right here on the 45 minutes, unsurprisingly. So our 1 hourly will match with that in terms of short time frame. You see, now we're getting the short time frame being tested. Really, that's how the transition between the 45, the smaller and the larger time frame. That's why the larger time frames matter a lot more so. And those who are really sharp-eyed notice that we're really doing this wedge right now. Again, something that we kind of spoke potentially will happen just recently, and here we go. Now, should we we're skipping back and forth this time around, I know, but most of you are regulars, and I hope you didn't get too lost in the process. It wasn't all that complicated. You kind of are aware and know what we're doing. I didn't switch the right chart. I have the right chart here. It's not exactly what we want to be working with, but let's go this one. Let's hope this one will give us what we want. Let's hope that's the one we want. Is it? I think so. All right. I'm not sure. I think so. All right. So yeah, we were bouncing a little bit back and forth, but on a grand scale of things, we still are, nothing really changed. We're just kind of seeing the slow turnaround. It's like watching paint dry, right? And we understand that this process within itself is quite volatile and will have a lot of price action up and down. And in fact, we said we could even see a little bit of that, more of that squeeze, which gives us about 6,000. Not going to be all that surprising, maybe 6,000 and a bit. How likely is it? But I mean, come on, I've said this before and I've been saying it since 5,400. You can say I've been wrong, or you can just say that the high ended up being sort of higher than a bit expected. When the market will correct as deep as I'm saying, will I end up being wrong or right? That's debatable, to each their own. I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm just here to read the market, and you're just here to listen to me Otherwise, not financial advice as we sit now. Addressing that wonderful stuff brings me to, should we do Palantir? Should we do, in fact, I am very tempted to address NVIDIA first. Some of you will know why, which is, by the way, pretty phenomenal. I have to say I am horribly impressed. We were able to penetrate previous highs, and quite phenomenal. There's no, do I recommend? I don't recommend doing anything. It's up to you. The thing with NVIDIA, and in fact, I want to address, give me a sec. I will address that in a second. Where was that? Just so everybody will know what the hell that is that I'm talking about. Alrighty, there we go. So, here is a video of mine. Tom Lee is wrong. Do this now, right? This is a video of mine a month ago, and it was talking about NVIDIA, amongst other things. And we have here Roitek, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I really am not looking to butcher it. That's not my intention, but Rohitek, something like that. Ashiapax, something like that. I mean, it can be pronounced in various ways I can see, but sure. That's, let's hope I've done a semi-decent job in pronouncing it. So, he's pointing out this beautiful human being, Rohitek Kashyap. Rohitek Kashyap. Hello, Rohitek. Seems, very, very private person. He chose to point out NVIDIA at 144. This aged like milk. I guess this person never really truly watched the video, nor he understood that the correction on NVIDIA hinges on the overall correction on the market, which we are expecting and has been prolonged slightly longer than expected. Sure, then we do get these acceptable conditions for NVIDIA to rally slightly higher. And remember, we're not really timing nor saying that something is possible or not, more so that we're focusing on the current momentum and target ranges, if you will, the checkpoints, the potential retest that we've seen. I can get very, very horribly accurate, which is just, you can say phenomenal to some extent, if I may give myself that credit. Right, you all seen how accurately I get these things, even sometimes just eyeballing them, which I do not recommend. Don't do this at home, boys and girls. Don't eyeball anything. Know how to measure everything in the right way. I would argue that we're still obviously testing, which those of you know, slippage is a very normal phenomena. And let me just bring that back. I'm going to bring that back in a second. So slippage is a very normal phenomenon. What really we've been testing here is 140.76, which is the all-time high from before. We can clearly see it right here in this price action. And I've predicted this to be the case. Literally, I think in the video this very person is talking about. So I said, of course, 144 is not out of bounds to perceive that we will be able to slip all that far out. If you understand, the very next range is basically 227 if we're talking about Fibber retracements or psychological levels, which is around the 200 or 150, which, by the way, we're not that all far away off of. But remember, because we've gone through a split just recently and a significant one, it requires all that huge momentum to actually move it higher. So don't be fooled by the low price. It does contribute and help the stock climb. The problem is with NVIDIA, like all other assets, it is strongly signaling towards a correction. And the biggest issue with Rapek, whatever his name is, now I really don't care, no offense to him, that he doesn't understand. And more so oftentimes people who point out these sort of things are not exactly your trader type, nor the people who really swing trade. In other words, it's not like he's executing his trade here, nor liquidating any part of it. In other words, he's going to be the same very person that I will maybe referring to back when we will be retesting the highs that I've mentioned before, probably producing this head and shoulders potentially. Again, we don't know what the case will be here. This starts to smell like a head and shoulders a little bit before we even got there, but it does start to smell like that. Of course, we're more so those who know the head and shoulders look more like this. That's the real shape, if anything, that we're going to get in things. But the thing is with that person, that these are the same people who often do not execute, as we said, do not liquidate anything at all. And I will be referring to when we will drop back to the 90s that I'm expecting. These three ranges will be retesting quite significantly. That was the 110, 100, and the 91.87 area, right? This kind of the areas we're talking about based upon this inevitable correction that will come sooner or later. And you see, then this person will be nowhere to be heard about. So Roytech, as awesome as it may be, Roytech, hello, Roytech, yeah, this guy. When I will comment in a couple of months and ask him whether, or weeks, whatever it will take, we don't know how long it will proceed that the correction will truly start, but when it will. But more so, I assure you that based upon what I understand and familiar with, because I've been working in the industry for quite a long time, this is going to be the same person who's going to find himself crying how he didn't liquidate at 40 and he doesn't know whether he should sell or should buy and all that wonderful stuff. It's one of those people who like to be brave for that 1 second that they appear to be on top. Very, very lowbrow behavior. I mean, Roytech, no offense, but you're not really the sort of material I'm looking for and aiming for in my community. And I mean, thank you for the interaction, but I'm not going to be offended if you're going to find the door and, get the fuck out, right? That's that about Roytech. Now, we have another person who found it at least less, which I tremendously appreciate. I have to appreciate that person for being at least a lot less negative and having a bit more of a respectful approach to things. Which this is ORR989, right? Which is this wonderful man called Pencil Man. Pencil Man, who seems to be very interested in Flat Earth new best documentaries. I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, that's just his channel. I mean, it is what it is. And he seems to be very interested in Flat Earth here and Guy Code and all sorts of wonderful things. And vacations, which is good. Nothing, I cannot hate on vacations. But yeah, seems to be quite the great material of the human being here that is giving me that wonderful criticism. And this is why Warren Buffett hates technical analysis and charts. The fundamentals is all that matters. SoFi is now over $10 per share. Awesome. Now let's tackle SoFi, because $10 per share. Honestly, I'm gonna say that I'm tremendously impressed. I did not foresee us being able to break, pardon me for the horrible mess of a chart that you are seeing. For you, it's probably difficult to read. Quite excessive, quite impressive how we were able to exceed to the exterior of the flat channel that we've been having for a long time. It's rather flat-ish. I mean, it does have some upside. We've been saying that yes, there is some bullish momentum. Quite honestly, I did not see ourselves going to 1054. I still see this as slippage from our current resistance. No, I do not see how we're making it to 1170 before correction starts. I really don't, especially having another very strong resistance line right above us right there. Best case scenario, we make it probably to 11-ish if we're really, really lucky. In terms of time and by the time we make it, more so there's this horrible obvious gap that is aching to be closed, which will get closed. I'm not even talking about how your SMA is sitting at 737 years, kind of. I mean, we can call it 741, right? It's sort of we're almost having this convergence of these several points. If it's the bottom of the channel, if it's that Fibonacci retracement level, if it's the SMA, daily SMA, to be clear, 150, right? So it's kind of suspicious how we're having this juncture of things. And I'll tell you what, This was, those who watched this wonderful video, this great, wonderful fan and commenter decided to comment, which was produced 3 months ago. I highly recommend watching, by the way. Mainly focuses on SoFi, but also explains how the entire correction on SoFi. I was basically breaking down the supports and resistances as we usually do on this channel and talking about the potential channels. And right here, you see I'm already going into explaining how the entire thing is predicated on the correction on the S&P. And before this thing starts, this prediction on the S&P is, sorry, irrelevant. Right? It has to take place first this, and what will happen to SoFi? It will start breaking, testing these various supports and resistances on its way down, and I still predicted, well, now that it made it as high as it have, I'm actually going to say that it might be spared and saved and not make it to the twos that I was calling out earlier. It might actually going to be spared and sort of end up slowing down around the fours and probably high threes, just kind of in this area right below the support. Remember, because slippage can be very severe on the downside. It's a known fact. So yeah, there's that. Now that we sort of explained that all of this hinges on the S&P and the overall market correction, I hope we're on the same page. Those who don't watch and are not aware, it's their problem. I kind of don't care. Cry me a river. And yeah, but nothing really changes. Really, what it is, that the only thing that changed, it's based upon the high that we've generated on SoFi. It could be spared and not necessarily drop down to the twos, which again, I'm not hating on the stock. In fact, like I said, when it will drop to these twos, I'm probably gonna buy a whole bunch. I do believe that Anthony Noto has good intention and a true aspiration to stay around and grow this company to succeed. And it does have the right sort of material. It is now considered to be a proper bank and all sorts of wonderful things we would like to see from that sort of asset, because that's what they're trying to achieve. But they still are, some of you know I spoke about this, they're basically a generational asset. The old school people still shy away from them. The old school people are, I mean, the older generations, we're talking about 30-ish and above, prefer to use banks, more so because SoFi cannot properly offer what regional and stronger banks can offer. And more so, they cannot offer safety, they cannot offer security, they cannot offer a brand name, something that these brands just do because they do, right? So right now, the majority of capital, worldwide held capital, is held by the more mature generation, right? The 30 and above. And they themselves, ourselves, I'm included, I'm 38. Those who don't know, I prefer, in fact, those who don't know, I worked for the industry, worked for various brokerages, and I prefer to trade with the bank. Ask yourself, how is it that the person who worked for brokerages as a money manager, right, prefers to work prefers to trade with a bank, right? Ask yourselves that. It's almost that same logic. So our preference actually make a difference. Now, SoFi on the right track, but no one says it's going to happen tomorrow. And I do think SoFi inevitably, inherently, because this younger generation, well, they grow older, they work more, some of them grow smarter, some of them make more money, some of them get better positions, some of them actually advise their own kids nowadays already start using these sort of services. And the older this generation will become, the more normalized using a service such as SoFi will become. Inherently, it will become more staple. And whatever becomes staple, I don't have to tell you, it has tremendous growth ahead of it, right? It's only a matter of time. So basically, when I'm saying generational asset, it's only a matter of time until the current generation basically dominates the backdrop of where the money flows into, which companies, which services, and subsequently, we're gonna end up with something like SoFi dominating. But if the market is going to experience a tsunami-like event, SoFi is not going to be spared. In fact, SoFi being the bank or the weaker sort of asset, people will run away because it's risk on. And when shit hits the fan, people run away from risk on assets. It's just the reality, right? So, and again, no offense to anyone, SoFi, as great as it's been doing recently, that is not an indication that it's not going to correct to the very same levels I've mentioned in my video. And it's a bit disrespectful when you don't yourself know how technicals work to speak to somebody who knows them on an expert level to try and I mean, I don't really mind these sort of things. I really find it hilarious, and I'm grateful for the interaction, but I do find it a bit hilarious. I mean, does this person even recognize the hilarity of his comment there? And again, I really don't mind. I really don't mind. I do find it a bit hilarious. And I will probably use these comments later down the line when we will retrace finally to the levels that I'm talking about, when the correction will initiate, right? And I'm not trying to offend them nor, put them on blast. I'm just, honestly, I'm doing this sort of, I hate drama and all that bullshit. It's just, what was the point of this comment? What sort of thing? It's like walking into somebody's house and with a very passive aggressive attempt of an insult. Weird thing. More so, those who have been around the community know I'm far more often right than I am wrong. And even when I am wrong, it's probably a temporary thing. And probably, if you say it still didn't pan out to prove that I am correct. Those who know and have been around for long enough know. Again, I don't take offense to this. It's just why I find it amusing. And since you guys are my community, who the hell am I going to share it with if not with you guys? You know what I mean? So let's go tend to the chat a little bit. So, hello, next level. Hello, good to see ya. HYZN, what do you think it's have price target of 80? I will take a look at that in a second. Next level, if you don't mind. Piotr, good to see you. We said you're here around as well. Okay, okay, boss. Gonna wait for the 97. Yeehaw. Yepper. Be patient. Look, these processes are slow. People often are very reactive. Like, Piotr, let me ask you this. If you're a father and your kid walks up to you and says, Dad, we have these crazy conditions in the market and, I decided to sell and the market kept on rallying, you're probably going to ask yourself, or you're going to ask your kid, like, did conditions change? You're going to say, well, no, not really. I mean, the market, in fact, it's just, if earlier it was red hot, now it's yellow hot, right? It's just got that much hotter and we're still about to implode any second, right? So you missed out on a couple of dollars. Boo-hoo, But you will say, potentially, if you're thinking things are that risky, maybe it's a good thing that you're staying away, right? That's probably what you would advise your own kid. In fact, I would probably advise to look at any advice, right? You would want to apply. In fact, any action, right? You want to apply to your portfolio. Ask yourself, if your kid walked up to you with the very same question and the very same conditions that you have yourself, what would you advise them to do? Right? In fact, it's kind of amusing how clear it will become. Look, we can all stay in the market to take a little bit, to potentially take more, off the table, right? It'll take a little bit more, enjoy a little bit more ROI. Good. But what if you're taking a risk to potentially profit 1% more of ROI, to the contrary, the loss of, let's say, 50% of your already existent ROI. That means if right now you're sitting on returns of upwards of, $500,000, that's going to shrink to 250K. Is that something you're accepting to take just to maybe squeeze out 1% more? And given the fact of the matter that, again, if the whole thesis is wrong, don't forget, it's not like your money goes anywhere. Yeah, you're going to be slightly behind. That's all you're going to be, hypothetically. But potentially you've prevented yourself from suffering pain that I don't want to talk about. But again, remember, I'm not saying 50%. We're talking about 44% in the overall market. But it doesn't mean individual assets will not break lower than 50%. So you see, that in fact is a phenomenon we've seen before. the fact the correlation between the indices and the assets is severe. We know that, sure, but we also know that the small caps, the risk on assets, suffer a lot more when these type of corrections happen, right? We have to be objective about these things. Remember, the same way I don't go bananas when the market is going downwards and I say, guys, see, I was right? I was right. No, guys, this is not what we're looking for. If anything, those of you who know right now, I'm far more focused on swing trades, things that might take, half a year and even up to a year and sometimes even longer. And if it took me longer than a year, I don't just give up and say, oh man, I didn't make it. No, it takes me a year and a half. It is what it is, as long as it provided the ROI I was looking for. That's the really important stuff, right? Ori, I didn't get. Ori, good to see you, by the way. Shout out to my, again, Israeli and Jewish and non-Jewish, actually. Shout out to everybody, but particularly to my good members and friends here from Israel. We are all here in a bit of a pickle, so I feel for you guys. I hope you are all safe, and I hope you and yours are all good, and hopefully we will go over this situation soon, and everything will be fine. I really feel for you all. And Ori says, Greg, I didn't get an alert from Discord. It's a bit weird. I do know Discord, YouTube, things F up sometimes. Sometimes you need to maybe make sure that your Discord has the settings on. A lot of people are not aware that you can turn the settings on and off, right? Of various alerts. It depends on which level of things it's shut off, so I couldn't really tell you, but you probably want to go into your user settings and see if you have, the stuff there on, but also don't break it in such a way that you're going to have too many alerts, because we do have a lot of stuff going on and I don't want you to be bothered. More so, I am bothered that YouTube is not really giving people alerts. And the reason I'm posting on Discord all the time is because YouTube is just, for some reason, having something really, really unpleasant against me, it seems. Or maybe it's some algorithm nonsense that they can use as an excuse. I don't know. But it seems that people are being unsubscribed. By the way, like, you guys all should check whether you're still subscribed, because people are randomly being unsubscribed. People's bell being turned off randomly because they know, like, I've been already told 3 times that people turned on the bell and just was turned off somehow. People got unsubscribed when they know for sure they were subscribed. All sorts of weird things are going on with YouTube. So, by the way, those who are still looking in the background right now, quietly, we're closing the gap on the S&P. We spoke and expected this. This is a healthy thing. We want to see that going on. The quicker, the better, in fact. Okay, I really don't know what to tell you, brother. I really don't know what to say. I really do make an effort to try and inform everybody that I am going live. Rich! Good to see you, brother. Rich is a OG of ours and rarely gets the time. He's a busy man, kids, wife, hard work, in the best factory on the planet. Just saying, Rich, you can do a shameless plug to your workplace. I absolutely not gonna hate on that. You guys definitely deserve it. A big favorite of mine, for sure. I'm a fan. Christoph, by the way, Christoph, thank you for being an awesome moderator. Guys, Discord link in the chat. Those are not still in the Discord. By the way, soon the Patreon will be locked temporarily. So the $10 will be locked, and the $10 entry for the Zoom calls and all that great stuff we do on our Discord for our members will be locked away. And the cheapest way will be through Tom for $20 a month. So right now the $10 is the cheapest way. I have that. That's the Patreon of mine. It's just one tier there, not too difficult. You cannot confuse it. I highly recommend. In fact, let me drop the link right there. If I can, let me find it. Here is the Patreon. Those who don't know, that Patreon basically allows you to have access to all the Zoom calls we have on the weekly basis, access to me and the rest of our awesome community and the rest of the material we basically have its great value. A lot of good stuff. Basically, it's very similar to how our public is set up, right? We have in public very similar, but here in the members, we have various voice chats that we hang out. One-on-one is where I do my academy, which, by the way, I have one spot still. Hurry up, because there are plenty of interested people. You're gonna miss out. You're gonna have to wait for the next round, because I'm full. And we have Tom's Academy, which you have to be Tom's Academy member for this. My Academy member is the investory. But in the members, you get the stock threads in which we discuss various stocks. You can even find it very convenient. You just go through this thread icon, right? This very awesome thing. I cannot brag anymore that we're closing on 20,000 because I've done this thing. We're now down to 17,200. No, there was not a mass exodus. I've done a bit of a purge, people who were inactive, and we do try to keep our community safe and clean and all that wonderful stuff. So we've done a bit of a purge, and people who were inactive were kicked from the server. That is to prevent all sorts of scammers making their way and hiding inside our community. We don't mind taking sort of that, punch to the numbers. It doesn't matter. We're not here about the numbers. We're here about the quality. We want you guys to enjoy a good community, right? So there's that. From discussions ranging from geopolitics, finance. Of course, here we do it in threads. People continuously like to drive me bananas. Although, Faith, good job, good post. Good job, Judy. Good job. You've done it right. Yeah, so finance, tech, come on, man, come on, man, this is not good, we want full thumbnails, like, seriously here, good job, seriously, shout out. But yeah, we have that, of course, the drunk chat, where we can discuss pretty much anything and everything in whatever format we like. Judy, what is this? No Facebook nonsense, come on, Judy, what is this? But yeah, we try to keep it clean. We hang out. We have our Zoom calls, the Zoom archive, by the way. Those who miss out on the Zoom calls are able to go back in time and watch all the wonderful Zoom calls we had. And of course, to participate in 4 Zoom calls a week we have every month as well, $10 a month, and you get all that wonderful stuff. Now that I'm done yapping with it, magic, below and behold, right behind the scenes, just like in a cooking show, the gap is done. So we are kinda ready to start seeing a correction, boys and girls. Gap is finalized. Magic, we love that. That's exactly what we wanted to see. That is perfect. We're sitting right on top right here with overbought conditions. And we're starting to flip over just like magic, right? Let's put a line right there so we can see it vividly, right? Before the whole tool dissipates. Let's have a line. Let's make it nice like that, nice and thick so we can see it, and let's lock it in right there. And the magic, below and behold, the market's starting to have some stutters, right? Let's see how the market will proceed from here. That is a good thing, so we can officially say we finalized the gap from today's open, right? So we are free to do whatever the market wants to be doing. And by the way, those who don't know, this is why there are so many traders that trade particularly the market open, because these particular steps, and especially these sort of gaps, are highly predictable on their closure. Some of them would be out by now. They'll say, I will trade only 30 minutes, an hour of the market. That means they missed out on this wonderful trade that still would have been very highly likely to happen, right? It just took a little longer than expected. So that's what happens to people who try to time the market. And you see, boys and girls, this is why we say don't time the market. Understand the highs and lows, why they're there, understand the forces, understand the strengths, right? Understand how technical analysis truly works, and don't try to time the market. Timing the market is for people who are delusional, okay? Timing is not smart. I'm sorry. Timing is not good. Finding the right supports and resistances and understanding why they play their play and why they do what they do, right? Magic, like exactly what we're having right here, right? This is what you truly need to master, not to try and time the market, because timing the market is bullshit. Okay? We say that again and again and again, both Tom and I. And Tom and I are far more in line when it comes to our perception. Oh, you see? Wedge. We're making a wedge, boys and girls. Just like I told you, the market likes wedges. See? Rich, what? I'm not even kidding. I'm like a chocolate addict, you know? I think right now I have at home like I think not including, all sorts of like chocolate covered. So I mean, first of all, I'm right now sitting and staring at the chocolate glazed or covered, if you will, whichever you want to call it, donut, right? Two of them to be precise, right? So that's first. Then I have chocolate in the drawer, and then I have chocolate in the fridge. Four types of chocolate, and I have chocolate for cooking. And like, bro, I'm a proper chocolate addict, and probably a whole bunch of chocolate candies, which I forgot to mention. Cause yeah, what am I doing? What is this nonsense? Okay, so. We're not doing wedge. We're not doing wedge. Are we doing wedge? You see, like, we're not doing wedge. Greg, you're wrong. No, if we're gonna make our way back into this and retest it, it's still wedge. You see? So chill out, boys and girls. Yeah. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Bad words gang, good to see you. Alrighty, Oridekel, check the options on Discord. We all received it. Yeah, it could be probably something. Only open a support ticket, and me and Christoph will try to tend to you ASAP, right? And see if we can help you with that one. But it's probably something in your user options. I'm assuming. My feeling is probably or your notification stuff. Howdy, Casey. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Only plus, I mean, you and I both speak Hebrew. I can easily help you. Kalei kalut, as we say. Just reach out to me, DM me, brother, and I will help you out. No worries. Pum 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 pum. So what else did I miss? Just managed to grab this. Yeah. Rich? What are you talking about? Grab what? I think I am sadly confused. I think I miss out. What are we talking about there? I think Greg's. Thanks, Greg. That puts it in perspective. Leo, of course. My pleasure, sir. Thank you, boss. Please don't call me boss. I hate when people call me boss. I'm your friend, and a crazy person on the internet. That's all it is. No more buying on the hype. It's difficult. I know, Piotr. Don't get me wrong. Look, we're human. The hype is real, the FOMO is real. I get it, right? But I assure you, even the experts, ourselves, the people who know the supports and resistances, as you can see, they end up working pretty neatly, right? We end up having, we hit 8 times correct out of 10. It's okay if we're going to have some discrepancy or a margin of error, no problem. But even you have to understand that even if we get these things sometimes wrong, there are discrepancies, there are abnormalities. The market can, as we say, stay irrational longer we can stay solvent. Even when the market goes irrational longer we can stay solvent, it does that within some certain framework. Right? There's a limit. People don't realize it's easy to say, oh, it's irrational. No, even there is a limit to the irrational, right? At some point it's gonna break. Your engine can probably go slightly higher, temperature than the manufacturer says, but you shouldn't be tempting your luck. The fact of the matter that you made it, 4 degrees above the manufacturer instructions, it doesn't mean that in half a degree it's not gonna blow up. Right? Should you really taking that risk? Think of it this way. And yeah, just not to interfere. Our wedge obviously didn't work out all that well. Maybe the wedge will be higher, larger here. We'll see. Because definitely redefine that short term. Remember, that's 1 minute. That is why we do not take cues from the 1 minute range, because basically it's going to get readjusted every other minute or so. Not really every other minute, I'm exaggerating every now and then, because when you're going to have extensive, slightly higher highs, right, reaching out, creating a discrepancy in the average, it will slightly move the ranges just a little bit. All right, that's that. What were we saying? I'll check out the settings. Yeah, all right, do that. All right. I think today's session was posted in Palantir rather than in Townscore. Shit, really? It could be that I screwed. Really, doesn't matter. It should take everyone, but I could have screwed up. I might have had screwed up a little bit. Let me just check that. No, 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 no. I mean, no, I think you're right. Damn it. Damn it. Damn. Yep, I'm a moron. Oh, I'm a moron. Oh, I'm such a moron. 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 Oh, well, that was happened. You know, it happens. I'm sorry. Not non-intentional, which reminds me I need to remove yesterday's link. It's unnecessary there to clutter the chat anymore. Do we have anybody here from the public? I'm feeling like doing a bit of a giveaway. Do we have any of our public members here? If you are a public member in our Discord right now, we will next level. I promise we'll get to it in a second. I just feel like doing something in the time being. We're not in a rush anywhere right now, so I still have time. So let's have some fun. If we have anybody here who's a public member on our Discord, DM me, right? DM me. Next level, you are okay. DM me. I'm on the live. Okay. Pretty much it doesn't matter how you write it. It doesn't matter typos, schmypos. I'm on the live. Like that. Anyone who's a public member right now will type to me, I'm on the live. Not a Patreon member. And the public members will get a 20-day. Let's make it 20-day. Patreon level membership on the Discord, which means you'll be able to participate in the Zoom calls and all sorts of wonderful stuff. Hang out with us on the Discord and that great stuff. Just all you need to do is DM me, direct message me. All you do, you basically need to go to Discord, find Greg right here on the top, right? Send me a message. I cannot send myself a message. Francisco. Hello, John. I think I'm public, John. Then what you need to do is, there you go. Some people are already doing it. There we go. What you need to do is press on my name here, DM me, I'm on the live, and I will give you 20-day Patreon level membership. Well, kind of the things, the things, permissions. Yes, I'll give you permissions that are basically on the level of our Patreon members, and you'll be able to participate in the Zoom calls. Ori, I think you are not. I think you're not public. That's yeah. Hello, my brother. Hello. I'm assuming that is not about what. Let me check. I mean, everybody who will do that, of course, I will finish the live first. I'm not gonna do that while we're on the live. It's gonna be a bit difficult to juggle everything at the same time. So I will do that once we're done with the live. You'll also be able to hang out with me. That same thing that the Patreons will get, basically. But Ori, as far as I remember, I've seen you as a member on some level. If you're not, no problem. You will absolutely get it, my brother. Absolutely. And John, you will need to DM me on Discord. I cannot do the searches. We have plenty of Johns and all that wonderful stuff. You need to go to Discord and direct message me. That's the only way for me to know. And it has to happen right now during the live, that you are direct messaging me, and I will be able to give you. I'm on the live. I don't have, I think, JP, you do have. I don't mind giving you guys. It's funny how I think all the members who have the level of access in our community think they don't. I think you guys are somewhat confused. Reach out to me and probably we need to do some one-on-one guidance. I mean, look at it this way. If you are able to see the members partition, right? If you're able to see anything below this, right? Anything that is below this support, the upper support, you see the reception, the voice channels, the members. If you're able to see this stuff, right? You don't need what I'm offering here. I don't mind giving it to you as well. It's just going to be an extra thing for 20 days, whatever, you know. But it's not going to give you anything extra. The Tom's Academy, to be Tom's Academy member, you need to be a member of Tom's Academy, right? You need to actually go to Tom's Patreon and sign up. I think, I'm pretty sure right now he has actually, let me check. Tom Nash Patreon. I will check very quickly and I will let you know if now is something that is viable. Let's see real quick. So let's see if it's viable. Yep. You can right now still go to Tom's Academy and sign up for the $35 Academy, right? This tier and these two tiers, the 99 and 35, not the 20. That 20 tier, the $20 tier, is the same one. You can give you the same advantages on mine, which is $10, right? But mine will be locked soon. If you don't sign up on it, it's just going to be locked in. Remember, if you you can be grandfathered in, basically keep it, unless your intention is to have Tom's Academy. For which reason you're going to have to be Tom's member on the Academy, right? Those are separate things. And if you want to have the investory, right, you need to be either Patreons get only these two channels. They get the announcements whenever I announce all sorts of cool things. This is Patrick Boyle. Awesome video I highly recommend talking about crypto. You know, like for example, my Patreon members get to see stuff I find to be interesting. Members exclusive stuff I post talking about various sort of things, charts that I post and talk about, and videos and all sorts of cool stuff, right? This is members exclusive, for example, a while back, just an example. I do kind of clean it up and all that wonderful stuff, but the rest of it is accessible only to my Academy members. For example, my Academy members, shout out to Leo here. Let's use Leo for the example. You see Leo here is a gold member because he is both Tom's Academy member and Investory Academy, meaning he sees Tom's Academy, both Investory, right? See both, and basically is a student of both of ours. Okay, that's what makes him gold member. Gold member, you cannot get it other than being a student of both of ours. Okay, that's how you get that sort of grade. Don't worry, boys and girls. I know I'm not next level. Next level, I got yours. I will look into it. If you are public, you're obviously gonna get it. Who else I got here? All of you boys and girls. I'm gonna look into all the messages. Hi there, Greg. Lots of love. I appreciate you saying so, but I'm looking to say I'm on the live, not lots of love. One second. All right. So, okay, I will take care of all of you. I'll go and check every single one of you. Don't worry. If you guys don't have any level, if you're public, you will get 20 days of access. So you'll be able to join the upcoming Zoom meetings and view the ones we had before and all sorts of cool stuff that our members get to enjoy. All right. That is that. A bit of a giveaway, just some fun. Why not, you know? All right, so what are we doing? Nothing all that crazy. In the context of things, we're just kind of out of bounds on this range, which, as you guys know, not all that abnormal. We end up retesting often, keeping the bounds of the range one way or another. We're still in 1 minute. That's why we like, instead of get hyper-focused on the shorter term, right, we prefer to look at the longer term, which in this case gives us about 4 times the amount. So we can look at about kind of what the 5 minute is, right? This it's 4 to 6 ratio. There's a fun ratio that we use when it comes to the time frames and how we can recognize the various next trade. It's in the time frame, jumping between time frames. Why am I using the ones I do? It's 4 to 6 ratio. All right, no, not 4 number 2 6. It's 4 TO 6. Okay. I only see the public desk, not the member stuff. Really, JP? Okay. That I will take care of it then. I think you're a member and should have had that as well. No, Fern, I understand. Don't worry. You don't have to. You're good, bro. I mean, you're a legend. Thank you so much. Don't worry. I will take care of you as well. Shout out to you. And I appreciate your comment so much. It's just that, no, you're a legend. You guys are so awesome. You're the best community. I mean, honestly, people who prefer to, misbehave and be weird in our community here, that, I mean, do I really have to say how weird that is, right? All right, so time to do the tickers. I think we've burned a lot of time before we forget and I need to jump over some weird thing. Shall we get to the tickers? I think the one that we really want to do is gold, and we want to do next level really wants HYZN, right? Let's do HYZN. Very good. I do like that sometimes there are sometimes derivatives and this and that, and you guys don't bother me with that nonsense. You guys know I like the original tickers, although in this instance it's just Horizon, so I mean, come on. Mm, mm, mm. That's not what I thought. Wait, it's Heisen Motors. Oh, wait, it's not what I thought. Interesting. Next level, what did you cook up for us this time around? I don't like how short term it is. I do like that it already split here. But, oh, I don't like the number. I was just about to say, please don't be high number. Okay, that explains everything as well. I mean, yeah, that explains everything. Okay. What do they do? Who are they working with? What's the shtick? What are we talking about here? First of all, let's see what and who and what. It's about hydrogen. Oh, it's hydrogen. I'm actually, those who don't know, I'm somewhat of a fan of hydrogen. Doesn't mean it has a future. I could be a moron and wrong and an idiot and whatever. It's just that I do like a bit of hydrogen in the portfolio. I do think hydrogen has a lot of untapped potential. Interesting that I'm not familiar, or maybe I don't remember Hyzon Motors. Have we looked at them before? But okay, okay, okay. You are okay. I was just about to discover it. Okay, okay, okay. Who do they engage with? Are you aware? Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah, we will do. We will do. Francisco, I promised you we're gonna do gold. We will do gold. I did not forget about you. All right. I mean, we have nothing basically. We're just starting to get. Okay, this is not good. This is not good. I do not like what I'm saying. This is not good, sir. What's the balance sheet saying? Balance sheet is shrinking. Total assets are not. I don't like this. This is a steep decline. This is not good. Oh yes, and we're now. So like they're holding afloat. I cannot say I like what I'm seeing here. It's a bit problematic. What's your cash flow? Okay. So their operating income is stabilizing, investing, financing is dropped to nothing. Okay, that's good, bad, kinda like the mix of things. Okay. Not good. I cannot say this is good stuff. I cannot say this is what I want to see. But then again, it's highly related to energy, and energy not exactly having a blast recently, jumping from 80 to 70, 80 to 70. We've been doing that range for a while, and it seems like we're gonna go for another retest. I hate to admit it, but it's probably another retest right there. 78. We'll see. We're gonna hit that. I would argue within the next 2-3 months. It seems. It could happen within literally a day, but I'm saying anywhere between now and then, easily we're going to be testing this sort of thing, right? If we're looking into November, yeah, it might be sort of a retest several times over here. So it's going to be, this sort of travel thing until we finally sort of end up transitioning over that range. It could take a while. It could. I'm not saying it's not necessarily because we're going to be retesting that diagonal that we had from before. It's inevitable. It's a bit of a problem. hard to explain, but we're going to be retesting. So at least again, in my opinion. Let's go to that. You're like, well, what does oil has to do with it? No, it's energy likes to move, and energy moves in tandem very often. And the beginning of actual rallies on energy companies and energy related companies are hinged on a rally on energy. Okay. Am I gonna have data, or am I gonna run out of data soon? I mean, this is not bad for you, but I'm gonna run out of data soon. It's look, the question. I guess it depends on what. Could oil drop if the war is over with the Houthi and so on? Yeah. Next level, actually, it's a yes. I'll tackle that question in a second. Once I'm gonna let me focus on this, but yeah, it can happen. It's just that it's very unlikely. And don't forget, it's not just about the Houthis; it's about Iran. And you really think Iran will climb down that tree? I mean, let's just be realistic. I really think that Ayatollah will really, say, you know what? Nah, I changed my mind. Nah. And it's bigger. It's a bigger issue that we're having here in the Middle East. It's not just the Iranian regime. It's so much more stuff. Next, you of all people should understand. It's layers that. It's not like, the Ayatollah now, you take out the Ayatollah, somebody else will not be even worse. You know that, right? Let's see. Yeah, very, very, very decent correction. Not all that surprising. Again, oftentimes when we see such steep, movements on the market doesn't like this. The market oftentimes correct. The market likes to move if it's within a range. When it's stuck, this is just kind of another way of the market to waste time and allow them to sell into your buying, into the FOMO. It's brilliant. Actually, it's a brilliant play if you know how to do it right. Slime player. The Middle East always gonna be beefing. I mean, not always. Really, I'm gonna be straightforward. Really, it depends on the surrounding countries. It's not like we wake up, bro. We are a very peaceful country, and the more we allowed ourselves to be sort of fooled and lulled into this false thinking that we can get along with people whose actual mantra it is to kill us all, and until that happens they're not happy. You have to figure out who's to blame in or who's at fault, right? I promise you, people in Israel, the young people who just finished high school really don't want to go to the military and potentially sacrifice their life. They probably prefer to go to college, travel abroad, just be cool, free spirits. Trust me, they are not what you think. Like, this is not something people are aching to do. They are aching to defend their people because they know they need it. Otherwise, if you ask them if they would be free to do whatever they want, that is far from their ideal, far from it. So, yeah. All right, so that's that. So we've taken a look at. No, we're still looking. Sorry, we're still looking. Pardon me, I almost got distracted there. Sorry. See what happens? Don't distract me. It is not good. No, not good. This is an interesting one, though. Right. I'll tell you what, which you're probably not gonna like. I prefer you reach out to me again. Next level. You really have some interesting plays that you come up with, and it's an interesting one. And I'm not shying away from speaking about it openly. It's just gonna take me, first of all, more analysis to give you anything objective. And again, and it's not. I just don't want to mislead anybody here by mistake, even from my own perception about this. Again, it's not financial advice at the end of it, but still, I don't want to analyze it incorrectly. right? I wouldn't want to do that. I'm not going to say it does not have potential. In fact, I do think it does have a lot of potential. Maybe I'm being biased and I would like to look and dig deeper into this. So I would love it if you reach out to me on Discord, as we say before, and hang out. Don't worry about, English not being first language. No one cares. English is not my first language either. It's fine. It's my third. Come in, join the voice chat, reach out to me, say, Greg, I'm available right now, and I'll tell you if I am as well. If not, no worries, we're gonna postpone that way until I am. But I am mostly, I do hang out, I jump into the channel. Sometimes we're sitting there quiet and idle for hours on end. Just tell me, hi Greg, I'm this and that guy from the YouTube channel. Remember, I've asked you this question. No, I would not remember the question unless you would remind me, and we can gladly would discuss whatever ticker, whatever that is that you want to know about. I would love that. Boys and girls, that's part of what our members, it's only $10 a month, gain. You can continuously reach out to us and ask us and talk to us and hang out and understand these things better in depth, especially the more convoluted stuff. There's, as you can imagine, again, there are plenty of benefits, and those are just some. Why people don't use them beats me, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not shying away from looking at it. I really do think it's a bit more convoluted, and I wouldn't want to mislead anybody. I would prefer we do that in the community and maybe get back to it a little later on the lives when we really understand it a little bit better. Okay? Reach next level, please do. I would love to work with you one-on-one. Again, I have students and all that wonderful stuff. I would love to still help you, everyone in the community, guys. We do that all the time. There are plenty of people who use these services, if you will. They use the ability to reach out to us, and plenty of people who don't. For some reason, for the life of me, I cannot understand. We're very busy people, both Tom and I, and we're finally there, and we're ready to speak. No one jumps in, just complete and utter silence. You can hear the crickets. You know what I mean? Okay, we're gonna do gold next because I promised. Francisco, don't worry, we're gonna do gold. I promise to you. Yeah, gold, please. Da-da-da. We're gonna do. Yeah, could oil drop if the war in Middle East? We said next level. Next level. Next level. In fact, we can discuss your question about the Middle East and the oil prices and energy in general. That's a wonderful question. Christoph, by the way, thank you for pointing out the S&P is rallying up. That's how I knew to switch over earlier, because Christoph, the legendary moderator, admin friend here, made us be aware of what's going on. Absolute legend. Let's take a look from up close and personal. Alrighty. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything crazy there. It's always gonna be beefing. Yeah. Slime here is absolutely correct. He understands exactly what I think. Otherwise, he wouldn't be saying it. Tomas, thank you for showing up. Good to see you. Hello. Okay. Yeah. I am not sure I understand that comment, Slime. Yeah, a lot of MFs. I mean, I understand what you're saying there. Are in Israel slowly for school to scary shit? Kind of confused. People who think there can be peace need to read the Hamas charter. I think I got now. Islam, I think I understood what you were saying. I think I understand. Yeah, no, absolutely, John, very correct. People who think there can be peace need to read the Hamas charter and specifically Article 7. I'm not sure about that, but generally their charter kind of does give us an idea what they're all about. And the fun thing is the more well fun, and in quotation marks, how the world is volunteering to overwrite and pretend for them that they're peaceful while they're bluntly saying, no, what are you, crazy? Our intentions are XYZ. We openly say it. In fact, we act upon it again and again and again and again, but the world seems to want to, it just goes to show how some people are really diluted, and to the point where some people really need to be put back in these, nice vests that tied, behind your back and put in a padded room. We have too many of these running around freely. Folks, make sure to like the smash and bell the ring. Absolutely, Christoph. Thank you very much, boys and girls. I would appreciate it if you like the video. Make sure you ring the bell and transfer it to everything, whatever it is, so YouTube will actually inform you. Make sure you're still subscribed. The thing unsubscribes people, as we said. So I don't even know anymore. YouTube doesn't like us. I mean, there was a big thing with Twitch the other week that they were basically banning Israelis from making a new account there, right? Something like that, some crazy stuff. I even posted a little post about it, I think, in one of the channels somewhere in the drunk chat or something like that. Maybe tabloids, could be. But YouTube, really, guys? I mean, come on. That's just that is like, wow. That is a wow at this point. YouTube is effing with us. Okay. Folks, make sure to like, we're at that one. All right, let's do gold, because Francisco is probably sitting there and probably about to kill me. Francisco, let's do gold. By the way, if I'm postponing something like the way I just was kind of dragging out doing gold, that means I probably really like it myself and really want to look at it myself as well. So I'm making sure we're going to have proper time to do it, I really do like gold, and I was, oh, wow. Okay, that is a wow. That's all I'm gonna say. I did say this is coming, but wow, this is fast. Also not good. Fast is not good. We don't like fast ever in anything. Remember that. That is not good. That is not, gold is not done. No. Gold is not done. But, well, you see, that depends, right? If you're going to have a correction on gold that will merely bring you to median, retest your level, or your bottom level, or enter this wedge, which brings you to 2,317, is that is that done for you? Not done? I don't know. But if that is merely a process within a natural, healthy process to make it to the 3K, as we said it will eventually, but shit, this is fast. This is so much faster than I thought. I mean, shit, yeah, we've accelerated this instead of braking. This is insane. How did I miss on this? We did not correct and kept on rallying. Wow. That is wow. That is a big one. That is a big one, boys and girls. But I mean, come on, we have to be objective, right? So once this takes place, 3 months, we're looking at the quarter. Out of the whole thing is going to be probably a convergence here. So it's going to look like that, right? More than anything, if anything. That's what it's starting to look like. But we're going to have to follow up on this. This is bad. I would consider dumping some if I was holding and then re-entering, rebalancing my position at the lower end at this point. This is far too quick. Probably not everything. I mean, if you're already sitting on very nice gains, you still have potentially some more to be squeezed out here. We've seen this, but damn, you're risking it. Damn, you're risking it. There is more momentum. There is. I would be a liar if I would say there is. You're done, right? I would be lying. But be very, very careful. The market, even though, yeah, the market really wants to correct on this and revalidate and retest certain levels there. That is pretty damn evident. Even a blind man can see that. No offense to blind people. Love you all. Hmm. Okay. Fuck. Who cares? Actually, I do it. No, I can't do that one, so I need to do. But then I have to. Give me a sec, boys and girls. Give me a sec. That will give me a very wide range. I want a narrow range. So I want to go old, right? We want to go old. Old, how old? We want to go old. We want to go. We want to go, and that will not give me what I want. I'll not be able to see any of it. So there. Curious. Don't try this at home, kids. Mm-hmm. Oh, for fuck. Okay, so shit. Yeah. This is very problematic. This is very problematic. We're probably gonna. I'm now fairly certain that we will still see back. This might pan out to be some form of head and shoulders correction. Like we said, something akin to maybe retest levels, sort of move into negative wedge, eventually break down. I'm prolonging. Don't look at the dates. I'm thinking structure wise, retest. Okay, we're not safe from retesting that. I really wanted to make sure before I say anything. The market is not completely safe from retesting that 2075. Or call it, it really what it will probably end up being is that 2100. You're like, what, Greg? Yeah, I know. I'm not saying right away tomorrow, not at all. It's a very complicated one. Look, where if we're not unlucky and not if we're not being held up by what will end up being around 23, 24 kind of ish area, we're gonna break to that 21 and subsequently to 75. For the life of me, I really don't see us breaking much further lower below 2000, even if somehow shit hits the fan for gold. If you're thinking realistically about gold and it's finally finding application in society and actually a true purpose, which is mostly in quantum computing, saying, "Oh, then it's of course it's gonna go higher." That's not right. We're not exactly building quantum computers left and right. Also, don't forget that yet. So yes, higher value because more application, but also at the same time, the supply and the demand is not the supply demand structure is not suitable for that yet because we don't know how it's going to be like because we haven't truly developed the tech, and we're going to see we're not aware whether we're going to be able to finally replace that gold with other metal. We'll see. It is still an on sort of a work in progress. But gold, by the way, if you're more attentive, is finding more and more real world applications that are realistic other than just put on your ears, neck, and fingers, right? So gold is far from done, but it's starting to smell very painful for gold. I hate to admit it. It is far too quick. I'm on gold side. Don't get me wrong. I need to look into this a little bit deeper to be more certain, but this is starting to smell like a incoming correction. Greg, why is going gold up fast? Is it the rate cutting? It's a safe haven. Gold is a safe haven, application, everything we just mentioned. Gold is, if you've been following gold recently, if you've been kind of following the narrative and you understand the economy, it is a safe haven. It's more, growing range of applications. It all plays a part in it. A gold, UI. Uh, do you think gold's back to the election fear? Wow, Joe, good one. There's probably some, gold buyers often are not affected by this one way or another. It's like the difference would be somebody who's buying 10 bars would be buying 11. You know what I mean? The difference is not severe enough to say that it made that much of an impact. It's part of it, right? I'm sure it does play a role. Joe here asks, do you think the gold spike is related to the election fear? Absolutely. I mean, Joe, the answer is yes to some extent. It's just that it's not one to one why we're seeing the whole thing. Greg, do you have a Lamborghini? Your analysis are great. How fast are you allowed to drive in Israel? Well, that's a good question. First of all, there are not too many Lamborghinis in Israel because the roads suck, right? So even if you can afford yourself a Lambo, which is horribly expensive, especially, I mean, you need to understand it's all relative. It's cost of living sort of thing, right? And the relativity makes it just stupendous amounts. And at the end of the day, it's not the best car to have in Israel. I'm not gonna lie. So, and more so, I'm more of a Camaro kind of, right, person. Tesla. I like various vehicles, but it depends what. I mean, Tesla is not necessarily the most viable for me. Teslas are very viable for people who have private homes. I live in an apartment in a building, so that is not necessarily the most convenient thing. I am, of course, working hardly. Uh, joke, just a joke. But I am working very hard towards being able to purchase the type of home I would want to, which is a private residence and private home, in which I will be able to allow myself to get a Tesla, which is going to be great. But yeah, I'm more of a Tesla kind of person. I would love to have, if those of you notice, I post a lot of conversions from, especially the classic models. I am a big fan of the classic vehicles, but I do like the abilities and capabilities of the modern Teslas. So for me, it's pretty much there are so many bodies you can land on top of a modern Tesla S or even 3. I'll take a 3 any day without thinking twice. You know, and it's gonna be phenomenal for me. Or it depends on the body that we're talking about. I love the classic structures, really love the classic vehicles, but I also like the modernism and the advancements of the EV sector. And I was rooting for Tesla when they were basically in their diapers. And I'm very, very into EVs in general. So I would love to have. It's just something that we cannot do in Israel. It's not permitted. It's something that will not get the permission to be on the road. Israel is very strict when it comes to regulation of vehicles. But great question there. Next level, you're a legend, man. Come and hang out with me. Next level, I would enjoy hanging out with you so much. Do you think gold will rally further if the market crash becomes um, to fruition? Yes, no, absolutely, Danny. Danny, absolutely, without beyond the shadow of a doubt. It does mean that in the way we're gonna have a bit of a correction. That these things usually move in tandem. It has to do with gold miners and overall conditions and companies who are more subject to these prices. You cannot just skyrocket something to oblivion in such an unhealthy way and expect the market to just shrug it off. Even gold, okay, even a safe haven such as gold. So I'm sorry, that's just not how things work. If you look in the past, you'll find there's always a correction, a prolongment of the process. There are various ways to achieve it, but I would avoid thinking, like some of the people we actually at times mention here, to the moon and all that. Don't be that. Don't think like that. And I mean, at least mitigate your risks, right? If you don't feel like this is for you, process this. I'm not giving you, this is not financial advice. At the end of the day, it's up for you to decide. More so, do more research. Don't just rely on some schmuck on the internet. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm an idiot. Although just recently I actually found photos of my charts from gold from many years ago. That was pretty amusing for even myself to watch. Not gonna lie. Um, Here it comes, the crash. I mean, again, we're not gonna pretend and say we know with perfect certainty that here it comes. But the conditions have been prolonged for so long. I'm even impressed we were able to get as far as we have. Like, honestly, jokes aside, this is freaking crazy. All right, where were we? But yeah, that can happen. In fact, if you're attentive, I found it so much easier this time. More often than not, we tend to say that it's almost impossible to predict the bottom and far much easier to predict the tops. This time around, I was able to predict the bottom basically, with a discrepancy of cents or sheer dollars, maybe a couple of dollars at worst. And the top really ran away from me, in the amount of like $400, if you will. So quite significant, quite significant. And again, I did say these levels are possible. They're just very unlikely, very, very, very unlikely. In fact, I basically said pretty much take it as a no. But hey, we get things wrong sometimes as well. I'm not here to pretend I am 100% correct. If I would have been, I would have been just stupendously rich and handing out billions to anybody who asks for them, which would have been a bad thing for the market, if you know anything. And the crash, was thinking about opening up a fairly large gold position, but I'll hold off in the immediate term. Danny, again, this is a very black and white approach. I would approach it. Remember how we said, imagine your kid walks up to you and says, Papa, what do I do now? How do I handle this situation? I want to buy gold. The market is this and that. What would you recommend me to do? Whatever you would recommend your hypothetical son, daughter, do yourself. Right? You know what I mean? That will be the best advice probably anybody would be able to give you, is you yourself under particular conditions or lens. Thanks, Greg. Nothing to thank me for, guys. Thank you for showing up and hanging out with me. It was a blast. I enjoyed this. I hope you can hear on my voice that I truly enjoy this. I really am. I'm feeling a lot better recently. I've been having lots of, stuff happen, just life stuff. My cat passed away. A cat I had like for just now. I'm realizing, recently looking through the photos, 15 years ish, and this little tiny creature been through with me through hell and high water, and actually pretty much my entire career in the market, if you think about it, and various things. And that little tiny creature was very dear to me, and it was very upsetting. Everything that's going on in Israel here, bad news all the time. It's hard to difficult with. There's like a lot. It's a lot. I have to admit it, but I'm feeling a lot better. And you guys, in lots of ways, I have to give you guys lots of credit for being part of that force that helped me out get out of that rut and feel a lot better about things. I'm being completely honest, 1000% honest, and I'm that sort of person. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to say it. You guys are tremendously awesome, and if anything, thank you for showing up and making this channel what it is. Without you guys, this channel is just me talking to the wall. You know what I mean? So you guys are all awesome. I tremendously appreciate your time. We're gonna adjourn today's live. I think we've been on for quite a long time. Yeah, for an hour and 40-ish. Yeah, so I hope I was able to provide with some valuable info and knowledge, or whatever that is that you're here for. Maybe my dumbass face or voice that you can't really see, or I don't know, you can't hear me, but still dumbass voice. It is what it is. Yeah, and thank you, boys and girls. See you on the next one. See you in the community. Join up. Don't forget the links to the Patreon. That way you can join the Zoom calls and all that great stuff. And those who done the task will, of course, get what I promised. I give you my word. All right, boys and girls, I will take care of it immediately. Alrighty. See you, boys and girls. See you on the next one. Bye for now.